Hello, welcome back to another episode of Somewhere Between a Film and TV podcast. We're your hosts. I am Daniel Parra.
And I'm Erwin Trejo.
And number one, thank you so much for listening and watching. Number two, what are they going to do?
They're going to like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do. Erwin, what is it that we are reviewing?
Captain America, Brave New World.
Yep, this is, oh my god, is this phase 5? This is phase...
Dude, how many faces are there?
I don't know, this is what?
Too many faces as well. So that's what I gotta say.
I can tell you this.
Tell me what?
You and I,
yes,
the MCU.
Us together.
We know so much about it. Just like telling you right now. We're also its biggest defenders. Hey, like the show.
Dude, that was good.
So my
I'm
question
excited
to you,
about the Daredevil. Born Again.
The show, yeah. No, it's so soon. We are going to review that 100%.
I just hope it's good as Netflix. So.
I hope it's as good as this movie. Just kidding.
That's not, dude. Oh, I mean, hey.
So we have a lot to talk about because this is technically our first video review on an MCU thing, which is part of the reason why I'm so excited about it. But before we get into all of that, I have to ask you a question.
Yes.
First, what's this about?
Captain America: Brave New World is about Anthony Mackie's character. What's his name?
Sam Wilson.
Sam Wilson stepping into as Captain America, and basically Harrison Ford being what is his name? Thunderbolt Ross.
Thunderbolt Thaddeus Ross. Yeah.
Thaddeus Ross. The baddiest Ross.
I was going to say Daddiest Ross.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Baddiest Ross.
Because he's a bad dad. And he's like, hey, you remember when I got...
He provided for his daughter.
I was going to make a joke, but full spoilers on everything.
Okay. He is a bad dad. He had a mustache.
Whenever she was like, bad. Yeah, I know you got nearly assassinated. I should have called.
Yeah. I was like, what is this relationship? It's so bad. But basically, it's them two together, and Thaddeus Ross wants to form the Avengers, while Sam Wilson, Captain America, is like...
Which feels kind of thrown in there.
There's so many ideas thrown in here.
Yeah.
But then, of course, there's someone in the background pulling the strings.
Yeah. Just like Ultron, just like Zemo, just like...
I think that's just a very
Robert Redford.
It just sounds like a very comic book thing to do.
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. No problem with that. And, like, we're kind of making fun of this movie, but... Next question that I'll get into.
Yes.
However, I thought you were about to say the description of this movie is Captain America is now taken up by the character of Sam Wilson, who is hesitant about taking it up, and everybody tells him that he shouldn't be Captain America and proves everybody wrong, including himself.
You talking about the show?
If that sounds like the show.
No, I'm like, I didn't say that because that's the show.
Because... we're gonna get into everything, but that's one of my core issues with. But however, I'm not gonna blame Kevin Feige or anybody because of a very specific reason.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you love it?
No,
do you hate it, or are you somewhere between?
That's my question.
What's our question?
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
I was gonna ask you too.
I guess I was gonna answer it first. Oh, I liked it, but...
Wait, that wasn't any of my choices.
I know, but I hate whenever we're positive somewhere between. But...
I'm just somewhere between.
Because
I'm just somewhere between on this.
I liked it.
Yeah, I had fun. But my issues are there.
Here's why this is so tough to say. I love the MCU so much. We both do.
Yes,
we do. We have talked about these movies since, what, like, the Avengers? Because...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think The Avengers was the first movie I saw multiple times in theaters.
Yeah.
Because every other movie, I would just watch it once and be done with it.
Yeah.
Not done with it, but I mean, like, in theaters. I'm done. I'm never watching this again.
Me after Thor?
No more.
Yeah.
I've seen Thor plenty of times.
I've seen all of these plenty of times.
Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3.
Yeah.
I've seen those phases... several times.
Yeah.
And just because of the buildup of it.
No, and then, like, this is how much of a fan I can say that we both are, essentially. Yeah. I own every movie aside from the ones that, like, the past, like, 2.
That's insane. Why do you own all of them?
Because I like physical media. And
no, you like to get physical.
The 2. I have also seen every single one of them in theaters when the IMAX did its like whole re-release thing for its 10 year. I made sure because I don't think I saw Incredible Hulk. No, yes I did. I made sure I saw Thor in theaters, and because that was the one.
You
that
know
I
what?
missed.
It wasn't even that bad to watch.
No, I love Thor. I actually like that movie a lot.
Yeah,
and
a lot of the Phase 1 hate
doesn't make any sense.
No,
a lot of this Phase's hate doesn't make sense to me either, even though it's produced like to me like two of the worst ones.
Yeah.
But they're always going to be
so which phase are we in now?
That's why I don't 5, I think.
5 or 6?
I'm going to look it up, but I'm pretty sure we're in phase 5. However, when it started to get a little bit rocky to me was the shows. And part of the reason for that is because Disney Plus was demanding this like corporate amount made of TV shows. And I know some people argue about the MCU's like status in terms of how it affects movies overall. Yes. And I've offhandedly mentioned that part of my whole thing with these movies is that I love them, but I don't like when people try to imitate them and take away all of the wrong things from it.
Wait, what do you mean? Like other franchises imitating?
Like just anything that like kind of copies the MCU's like
formula,
let's say, and the ability to balance humor, which this movie actually took itself a bit more seriously. There were a couple jokes, but like
that's true. It wasn't
I do want to credit this movie for like I feel like they acknowledged that, and it felt very much like Winter Soldier's tone.
Yeah. Wait. Let's talk about our likes from the movie.
Okay,
and then dislikes.
Because there's just so much stuff, but like there's gonna be a whole lot of somewhere between in this too.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite thing about this?
I would say my favorite thing was for sure seeing Sam Wilson as Captain America. I do believe that he has taken up the mantle greatly. Yeah. And the transition of it, especially from watching the show and then at least how they introduced it to in the movie as well. And honestly seeing Thunderbolt Ross as well. He definitely gets the shot. Like the character alone has more to do in this movie comparable to the other times he's been shown in, like, what is it? I think it's like Civil War and then a first Incredible Hulk.
He's also in Black Widow very briefly.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yes.
But Civil War was his big, like, if you're that one weird 8-year-old that you read comics and your favorite character is Thunderbolt Ross, he's in it. Yeah. Like, if you were that guy, he's there. If you were looking forward to the Hulk, though, but, like... Yeah. But I have to second you on Sam Wilson as Captain America. It's kind of part of the reason why this movie drove me a little crazy as a movie that I liked and I can confidently call good, is that it could have been great. Yeah. And honoring Anthony Mackie's ability to be that character now feels like, well, now I want them to, I hope they have another chance to do it again, a third time.
I just hope he could be such a good lead, a strong lead and charismatic lead. But he just never had the chance in this movie too.
It's because his character growth in this movie is the same as the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, where, like, I actually, what we just said about TV, I love the early TV shows that they made, though. Like, I loved Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. And, I mean...
Hawkeye was great.
Awesome. I know that I think I liked Miss Marvel more than you did.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Because, I think it was, like, whenever she was in... which part? New Jersey? She was in New Jersey most of the time. That's what I thought that was like the strong points.
But it got so kind of like they just got kind of caught up in themselves. Like I loved the first half of Moon Knight and not the second half. Yeah, it just didn't stick. I love Moon Knight the whole way through.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, but continuing and expanding on that, I just like wished that Anthony Mackie, I don't know. It gets to a point where like you have to go back and incorporate the TV shows, but they know that not everybody watched them. So
and it's been years too. So then you're also reminded of what happened as well. Oh, Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah, who's in that?
And... whenever he was in this movie too, it was great. Just because seeing that type of character, knowing that he was also was Captain America at one point. Yeah, but was thrown away because of the government.
No, he's amazing in this. He's got the most to do in terms of his character arc, not in terms of like actually being there. Yeah. But there's so many things that I'm like, okay, this was great, but or this could have been amazing and it was good, but this movie is filled with like things like that for me where like for every great thing there's a counterpoint of okay, but this, and then like just over and over.
It's because like every time an idea was introduced to it, it was like, oh, this is such a good idea, but then there's this other idea that they try to implement as well, and it just collides with one another, and you just don't know where like us as like the audience, where to like pay attention to.
No, for example, right off the bat, a perfect example of something also being great, but then also kind of like, well, this could have been better, is there's a certain actor that I love that is in this movie, and everybody like knows who this is. Apparently he was a late addition, which surprises me considering I feel like he has a decent amount of screen time.
Who?
Giancarlo Esposito, I liked a lot in this, but what exactly was that headed towards? Like right at the beginning, whenever he's like, "Aha, they sent me here," and then he's like, "I want to kill Captain America," and you're kind of like,
that's so strange to me. His character, I understand like him being part of the Serpent Society as well, but it just wasn't enough because he's such a distracting actor because he's so good.
Yeah.
That him being thrown in there was just...
No, the moment he shows up, and there are a couple scenes, like, he has the ability to command the presence.
Yes.
Anytime he's on screen.
He could be a main villain.
That's what that's why, like, whenever like, who's pulling the strings, I was like, is it gonna be him? Yeah. Because I didn't know that Tim Blake Nelson was in this movie, so I was, like, a little irritated that people didn't consider that a spoiler. So I found that out that day that I was gonna go see it.
Really?
Because I watched a review where they were like, "Oh, Tim Blake Nelson's amazing in this," and I was like,
I thought it was obvious through the trailer.
I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So like, honestly, I guess I just didn't catch on to that being obvious. But even then, like him, there's a lot of great stuff. Like I can tell you that I feel like this movie feels like a Phase 1 movie through and through, with the exception of the fact that it has a really good villain.
Yes.
And typically you'll be like, with Phase 1, you'll be like, oh, it was good, or oh, it was great. But
the villain was just very mediocre.
Yeah. What else did you enjoy about this? I know that we're kind of veering off back and forth, but that's kind of the problem here.
I love the transformation with Thunderbolt Ross to Red Hulk.
Yeah.
I think the villain's plan to him, basically not like trying to like kill him or like get rid of him, but ruin a legacy that he built for decades.
Yeah.
In front of everyone was such a good plan just from his side.
Yeah.
Not that I'm condoning violence and villains.
Or like people being red.
I don't mind that. Yeah. I get red sometimes too.
Yeah, all the time.
Dude.
It's happening right now.
Oh, okay. I'm just flustered.
Yeah. No, but like, okay, I know his grand master plan, he's got a big brain, but it was like...
It wasn't that big.
I've seen
bigger brains. Just... No, it's just took him 16 years for this whole plan.
Dude, I'm sorry. I've seen Transformers 1. He must have watched that movie. That's the plan from that movie. It's like, let me play.
I'm done saving you.
No, it's that whole idea of like, I know that you just said you liked it, but I can't go any further without acknowledging we did make fun of that exact thing happening in movies. Whenever it's like, I secretly recorded you saying the thing that is like wrong the whole time. It'd be like if you were in, I don't even remember if this happens in Hotel for Dogs, but a movie like that, like a dog movie.
Dude, what?
And somebody's like, I hate dogs. And you're
no, wait, it reminds me from iCarly, that one episode with like the British guy that they invited on the show, where he goes, I want money, I hate children, I hate teenagers, I hate America. It reminds me of that guy.
No, exactly that. Or if like, it's like that sort of thing. If like President Ross was like, I hate Hulks. And
I mean, he does say that. He tried to get Hulk arrested and locked up. I hate having a mustache. And showcases him in a mustache.
I actually love that they showed him with a mustache for 2 seconds. I was actually kind of happy. Like, we were joking about that in the last episode, but I was happy that they acknowledged that it was like, it was either lose the mustache or lose the election. And I was like, that's a funny enough line that like,
I think that would happen in real life though.
Yeah,
that I don't think I would vote for a president because who has a mustache.
The whole idea of Thunderbolt Ross.
So you're just gonna ignore what I just said?
No, I'm like
so we can't get political. Go ahead.
It's actually part of the. You want to know part of the problem with this movie is it's like a political action thing that doesn't make any political statements.
Yeah, exactly. The idea of having Ross saying, I want the Avengers back together again, even though he was the reason that it got disbanded as well.
Yeah.
And, of course, Sam Wilson is just trying to have this dilemma. So, yes, it'd be great to have the Avengers again because there's such bigger threats happening as well, but... Also, it's just his moral code and like his ethics of how he sees it as well. It's such a great idea to bring that back again.
No, and it's not lost on me that they do it in Captain America and or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where they talk about, like, I know the speech at the end of that show's a little too on the nose, but like it made a statement.
Yes.
And him being the first Black Captain America, you would think like that could there could be any form of statement being made, what it would be, and the fact that the abandoned Captain America that was in jail for however long, and they mention it.
Yes.
But I don't want them to just repeat beats from the show, but they do it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
it just kept reminding you how. I mean, if you loved the show, that's what it just kept reminding you.
I loved that show. Yeah. I remember it very well because of how much I loved it. I remember.
It kind of makes me wish that, like, whenever Bucky showed up too, that he was in this
movie.
it
more. Yeah. And we're gonna get to that because, like, I love Sebastian Stan. That's part of my positives, but there's. Like I said, part of the issue, like talking about this movie, is this whole idea of like for every positive, there's something along with that though. You're like, but they could have just like done.
It's just the ideas that are colliding with one another where you're just like, oh man, it's there, but dang.
That's something I found so frustrating, especially with the DNA of these movies. I personally love the first one, the first Captain America.
Oh yes, and first Captain America is good.
Yeah, I think. The first half of that movie is perfect. If the second half is really good, but I love that movie overall. The second one, though, I mean, what can you say about Winter Soldier that hasn't been said?
That's so true.
And
I mean, some people now still think it's like their top 3
for
favorite.
Me. Like we do lists all the time, and then like I always try and visit. Whenever I visit these, it's always high. That's what I can say.
For sure, top 20.
Yeah, there's like 35 of them.
I'm like, for sure, top 20.
And I know both of us. I don't know if this is like an unpopular opinion, but Civil War is the best one.
Oh,
and yeah. Putting that out right now,
especially with the amount of characters are in that movie.
Yeah.
And in this movie, I don't know, the likes and dislikes at this point, it's just like all over the place.
That's fine. It's like
but with Captain America Civil War, there were so many characters, and each character had time to develop like what they believe in and like how they reach their end goal.
Yeah.
And their belief.
Their end game.
Hey, nice. But in this one, all the characters are thrown in, and it was kind of hard to understand where they stand sometimes, unless it can be clear as day.
Which is a good idea if it's in Winter Soldier, for example. You don't have to know everybody's like stance on something.
Yes.
But when there's nothing to have a stance on, it's kind of like, look, you can even make, I don't know, a political statement within the context of the Marvel universe. Like Civil War has one about like not just this whole movie's point. This new one was like unity and being together. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. But it sucks because there's semblances of like Winter Soldier and Civil War in this movie. Civil War in the aspect of just like having a team together, and then Winter Soldier just like having that same like beat for beat that happened in that movie in this one, because that one lady that's also
Ruth
like part of the
Batsaroff,
Batsaroff.
That's the superhero name of that.
What? That's a superhero name.
Oh, but unless you looked it up or knew who that was, you'd be like, "Who's this like small lady?"
Dude, she's so tiny.
Yeah, she was very short.
Yeah, I was just like, oh
no, and then. I know that world building.
She has no chance with Bucky. I have a better chance. I was like, when she said that, I was like, you have no chance. I have a better chance.
Whenever she was like, he has a nice smile, I was like, wait.
I was like, women are horny now? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm imagining somebody.
You're surprised too, right?
I'm imagining somebody taking that seriously. Where they're like, women can get horny. You're like, dude.
Pause. We have to go test this.
You're like, dude, who have you been talking to?
Now I'm definitely red.
No, she's another character where I'm like, are you going to invite me to care about her? Like, yes. Are you going to tell me what it is? I know world building needs to happen because we've talked about how much it does need to, especially when you're at a point with these Marvel movies where new people have to be introduced.
Yes.
Because how are we going to keep caring? I know that Chris Evans is gone. I know that Robert Downey Jr., well, you know.
And you're not Steve Rogers.
Which isn't in the movie, which should have been.
That was a good line.
Yeah. But the whole thing about like just introducing people, I'm like, look, I know that they're probably gonna come back for a different movie. Can you at least tell me who this is? Like,
oh, and then that bodyguard of the.
I was just
Ross.
about to say, yeah,
her too. I was just like, what?
No, they like start having conversations. And she's like, you can't go in there. I'm like, why are you acting? She's acting like Natasha Romanoff in like any of the other movies.
Yeah, or just like that ear. I don't know. It's like the Hulk Hogan type of thing too, where it's just like somebody that's like in the know.
Yeah.
And
Happy Hogan. I was like,
Hulk Hogan. My bad. Not Hulk Hogan. Not the wrestler guys.
He's racist. But
I didn't know you raced cars.
That's racer.
Wait, racing her, racer. Dude, I barely know her.
Okay.
Okay, dude. Hey, now you're red.
We were stuck in the Hulk Hogan thing for a while.
Dude.
That's Bruce
Happy
Banner's last
Hogan.
name. Yeah. What were you talking about?
I don't know. I got lost with the
You said that, like, something about ears. Like the woman in your, like...
Yeah, in your ear, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's just... I guess her having... It was weird because, like, she obviously didn't have enough screen time.
Yeah.
But she definitely had more for the average, like, background actor.
Yeah, no, she's, like, in it.
Yes. And it's also, like, that military guy, too.
Yeah.
He was also in it. I think it's just because their charisma and, like, their...
This one guy with a beard, right?
Yeah, he was just in it. And when he died, I was just like... Okay. All right.
No, they introduced him in a way whenever he was like, "What's up, Cap?" And I'm like, Who is this? Yeah, yes. Exactly. And then they even go to... Like I said, this movie does repeat maybe too many moments from Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. They even go down to the villain's secret compound base where they're like, "Hey, I've actually been pulling the strings the whole time. Here's a bunch of people while I escape."
Yeah.
If one of them in this was like a robot, but like...
I like the one idea that they kept introducing where it's like, I should take the serum.
Yeah. No, okay, so funny. Can we talk about how that's another great idea?
Yes.
Like, I love this concept that Anthony Mackie's character, Sam Wilson, decided to take on the mantle while still representing himself as a normal person to show that anybody could do it.
Yes.
However, there is no more than one scene in this movie explaining that. Mm-hmm. You would think that that would be the dilemma here. That would be like the thing on his mind throughout the entire thing.
Yes. You
can see the shades of like, that's an incredible superhero movie.
Yeah.
Having to take on something that substantial, but still
in the show.
Exactly, yeah.
Ah! Dude, I just hate being reminded of the show so much right now.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Because you're like, you can make a sequel to something and have some similar stuff and have it built on.
Yes.
You can't just remove everything and then be like, hey, actually, we're just going to do this, but again.
Yeah.
And... part of it for me makes me want to ask you, because we haven't necessarily talked about this. We've talked about movies that have dealt with this, but never. Does it bother you, or do you notice it when you know about really extensive reshoots beforehand?
Yes, it bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me in the sense of the lack of care.
Yeah.
I would say, and the efforts around it. I understand like the reshoots happen regardless, but I think when you have so much bad press around a movie, especially a movie that's very part of something that people care and love about, and they're just anticipating for it too, that it definitely has an effect on your viewing experience. Yeah. And especially afterwards too, because after watching this movie, of course, you're like, you want to know what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
And sometimes like seeing other people who've like worked on the set and then they say like, yeah, I remember all of us talking while we're shooting the action scenes, like, this is not believable whatsoever. And I'm like, okay, dang.
Most of my stuff, you're like, yeah, I mean, he like can't fly in real life.
Like, oh, can't be real, right, guys?
He's too red. They're green.
Who hired this guy?
Did you imagine showing up to set and you're like, guys, you got the wrong Hulk. That's the wrong
red
color.
One. That's a red one.
Whenever I explained to a friend of ours that he was like, I'm confused. Why is he red? Is it because he gets angrier? I was like, yes. And he was like, that's so fucking dumb. I was like, I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, and the heating thing was
it's such a cool idea, but like it's barely used.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Did I tell you that that's what that power was beforehand?
Yeah, you did.
And they kind of use it.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Wakandan thing. It was briefly mentioned.
Yeah.
But even then, it's just, I don't know. It kind of makes me wish that they had more to do with this movie as well.
So, yeah, no, because they're in the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even then, it's just, it could also show, like, the world itself and, like, how much it's been connected now.
Yeah.
Too. And, like, they mentioned Wakanda in this movie
as well. They
do,
whenever they're like, hey, we don't need to get the materials from an isolated country that doesn't want to talk to us.
Yeah.
But there were just so many things where, like, Marvel's usually really good about... It's kind of funny. This movie, I haven't even said this yet. This movie kind of got caught up in what the opposite of Phase 2 did. And for whatever reason, decided to focus on resolving a bunch of super old plots instead of going with new ones.
Yeah.
Because this movie, if you didn't know it, based off the marketing, which I don't think you would, is a sequel to this movie, more or less. More than it is a Captain America movie.
I hate studios having rights to other things. Why does Universal have to have rights to the Hulk?
No, isn't it interesting that, like, if you really think about it, like, if we just replaced Captain America with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk without the Smart Hulk stuff, it's probably a better movie. Because
I can see that.
More like you already care about the connections that all these characters have to each other. Like, I haven't seen the fucking Tim Blake Nelson character in like 17 years or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
Or Liv Tyler, who's in this movie.
Well, dude, even with Tim Blake Nelson's character, even in the first one, he had little to no scenes as well. He was just like another scientist.
Yeah.
That was part of it. And it wasn't until the very end of that movie where you see him get affected by the gamma juice.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, I wonder where that's going to go. Well, I mean, now we know.
18 years later.
I mean, like, I admire the commitment to like wanting to pay that off.
Seeing Liv Tyler. Liv Tyler? That's not her name.
That's her name.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
She's pretty.
Yeah, but like, she's, I mean, can you even tell? It looks like she's like covered up by I don't know what they did. Her digital effects look, I typically am not one of the people that complains about the Marvel effects. Very occasionally in this movie, but apparently they did shoot on location. Some of it looked super strange.
Doctor?
Yeah. Did you notice that though?
Yeah, I just didn't look. I think it's just the coloring too.
No, because like if you look at the exact moments that I'm talking about, they have behind the scenes footage of them there. So I don't know what happened. Yeah. And I was like, oh, did they do that thing where they filmed everything and then like made the colors strange so it looks really flat and it's not supposed to?
Yeah.
Because it goes against something I noticed about this movie. They added film grain to make it look a little different. Did you notice that this had like a different aesthetic
during like the action scenes or just
during
like
the whole movie?
I don't know. I don't know what you mean. Go ahead.
I noticed this in the trailer. And it sticks in the movie. They added this very specific look to it that makes it look kind of more, which I mean, I know Winter Soldier did this too.
Yeah.
Cut from
I know what you mean by the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you...
Cut from like the Bourne movies. It has this very digital, grainy, but also mixed with film aesthetic to it, which I liked a lot.
Yeah.
But then once it gets to the more CG heavy stuff, it starts to clash because this doesn't have anything like that.
Yes.
Because like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the best fight in this and the two moments that I can tell you I loved in this were the action scenes, and one of them was with the Hulk. It's just when it gets to that point.
You have to clarify Red Hulk.
Red Hulk, yeah. Or else people are going to be like, that's not the right one. But like, yeah. But it was just kind of, it threw me off. Like, I more than anything else. But outside of that.
I do see that now. I know what you mean. Yeah.
What else did you like about this? I know that we've like.
I like. Who else was in this movie?
A lot of people.
Man.
It's like, I liked Giancarlo Esposito.
I like the interactions with Sam Wilson and Thunderbolt Ross. Every time they were both on screen at the same time and they had a conversation, it felt grounded. Yeah. Those are the moments that I really loved, and that's where it felt a lot like Winter Soldier as well. So I wish they really stuck with those moments as well.
When they're near each other and when they're having scenes together is when this movie's at its most vibrant and alive. Because Harrison Ford is amazing in this.
Yeah.
And
great actor.
Yeah. And I know that like Indiana Jones, as much as he's passionate about that, he's a little too tired, quite literally, for that role. But in this,
how dare you?
Have you seen that movie?
Well, it doesn't matter. I can still defend him.
You can defend something if you haven't seen it?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you give... Okay, there's a show, right? Yeah. Let's say a random show that has like, I don't know, 8 seasons. Okay. Let's say. And you've seen only 2 seasons of that show. And you say, this show is terrible, but you've only seen 2 seasons out of 8. Is it reasonable to say that you don't like the show, or it's not good because you've seen 2 seasons of it, even though there's fully 8?
It's reasonable to say that I didn't like what I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when people watch movies and they stop watching it after 30 minutes, when
shut the fuck up,
dude, it's only 2 hours, but it's 30 minutes, right? Yeah. And they say, I'm not interested in it. I stopped watching after 30 minutes. Yeah. I wasn't enjoying it. Is it also reasonable for them to give an opinion?
No, my first question would be, were you on your phone?
Because it's not the full story.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if the show takes 8 seasons to tell its full story.
Then just like you can lose interest, but just say I didn't like what I saw.
But couldn't you say that with watching like 30 minutes of a movie?
Yeah. But then your opinion is no longer valid on that movie because you didn't finish it.
Yeah, but couldn't you say that about the show?
Like that's why
that's why the full show, or to say like I did not like the show.
That's why I said whenever like, for example, if you walk out of a movie, like let's say you walked out of this, I wouldn't take your opinion seriously. Like finish the movie.
Mm-hmm. And you never walked out of a movie?
Never. Have you?
No, not yet.
I mean, not
the one day it's like, Daniel, I didn't even finish this movie. I walked out.
I'd be like, well, then
we can't record.
Yeah, we're not gonna review it.
But yeah, that's one of your thoughts on that.
No, anyway, okay. What did you think about the? I mean, of course you're gonna come into these, but you're gonna like.
Why'd you look at me? Guys, he shares a rag.
You're gonna come in the seats, and you're gonna.
Dude, stop.
And you're gonna be like,
use a different word.
You're gonna arrive in the seats, and you're gonna be like, my goodness, I've arrived. Sorry, that's the British. The where?
What?
And you're gonna want to see good action in these movies. Did you like the action scenes in this?
Yeah, they were fun to watch.
Yeah, dude, it's just like I was.
It was just there. I don't know.
I was okay. I was kind of grading them on a scale a little bit though.
What's your scale?
Winter Soldier.
Dude, that's terrible. Why would you do that?
because
Winter Soldier on its own, it's just a great spy movie.
When it came out, it was like a big deal. I remember.
Yes.
I was there. I saw it.
Yeah, me too.
But I've seen it a lot. And that the Russos at the time were hailed as like the next big thing, and now I don't know. But like,
I mean, I know they're coming back again, so.
Yeah. But
I'm excited just because. At least every time they touch a Marvel movie, it turns out to be at least great.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Dude, this is the first time though I saw the after credits of one of these setting something up, and I was like, I fucking know this dude. Yeah. Like I didn't. I remember.
What do you think he meant by the others?
The people from the other universe, the multiverse thing that we've been dealing with for when was this?
I really thought it was going to be next X-Men.
Maybe. I mean, they say adamantium, but like that's one thing I really liked. As I saw some joke that was like, as the 10 people that loved Eternals, I was like, hey, that was one of the 10. And I was really happy that they finally addressed that there's a big dude there.
Yeah. Like,
I actually like that that's a core subplot in this. Mm-hmm. But for me, though, the 2 action scenes at the end are awesome. Like, that's kind of like when I was finally picking up a little bit, because the middle's a little bit sort of laggy for me. Especially when they're like trying to piece everything together, and you're kind of like, I feel like I know where this is going. Like, figure out that he's gonna be the Hulk already, because like that's exactly. And then he starts getting angrier, and you're like, oh no.
Nice. I thought it was gonna happen at the boat. I'm not gonna lie, that would have been really cool.
It was in the trailer, so I mean, I was.
Well, dude.
Remember, Marvel's not allowed to do that thing where they mislead you anymore, because they got sued for that. So there won't be any like.
Good old classic mom.
Yeah, there won't be any like doctored footage or anything. But with that though. Whenever I love some of the stuff that Captain America does with his shield. It's like stuff that Steve Rogers never did because he never flew.
Oh, yeah.
And there was one awesome moment where he like kind of skis on the water with it that I thought was sick as hell.
Yeah.
And that looked really cool. Mm-hmm. I also love that this is an ongoing joke with, I think it's Danny Ramirez's character.
Yes.
On how he wants to figure out how to do this specific maneuver when he flies, and they show it in that, and I thought I love how that looks. Yeah. It reminded me that when they introduced Falcon, that people loved him when he like his whole skill set when he was first introduced, because you can do some really creative stuff with the wings.
Yeah.
And I forget how cool it is just to hear the shield.
Yeah, sometimes. That's true. Yeah. It's been a long time, so.
But then the fight at the end, I have 2 things to say. I both loved and thought wasn't long enough. Because they demolished the White House, and then it felt like something was missing. Like it felt like straight up they cut part of that fight because he like gets knocked out, and then the screen goes black and then comes back, and then he's like, "Oh, tell me I knocked him out," and then the Hulk gets up right then and there. You're like, how much time has passed into like this entire thing?
That was like the very end though with the fight. With the fight. I mean, I don't know. All the action scenes that happened, it felt very fast.
Yeah.
And it, as much as it, I don't know. I think in this movie, every time an action scene was shown, it was supposed to distract you from what's happening or like keep you entertained.
Yeah.
When so many scenes of like dialogue was just being exchanged too, but even the action scenes itself were very very bland at times, especially when it came to like when the side characters had their own action scenes.
Oh, like the one you're talking about, the lady that's just tall.
Yeah,
but yeah,
especially once like you're introduced to her and she's part of the Black Widow program. Yeah, and you're like, okay,
no,
like,
whenever
she's like,
and they're like, oh, she's part of the Black Widow thing, and you're like, just because you tell me that doesn't mean that like I'm gonna care immediately. Yeah, like she's not Yelena, who I love, but
yeah, I bet you do.
She's a great actress. I'm very excited for Thunderbolts. But
yeah, I'm curious. We'll see what happens.
Really? I love that trailer.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, but that ties me into something else. I want to talk about... I didn't address my feelings on reshoots. What I don't enjoy about that is
Wait, what are your thoughts on reshoots?
I feel like I start trying to pick apart where they are in the movie.
Right, yeah.
And so if sometimes you can get out of it and then be like, okay, yeah, I couldn't notice that. For example, No Way Home, no clue. I don't know where they are. Mm-hmm. But with this one... There are moments that are kind of dropped where either people like give really exposition-y dialogue, because I don't know if they showed it to a test audience and they were like, who's Isaiah Bradley? Because they say it like 4 times where it's like, Isaiah Bradley, the former incarcerated Captain America.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And you're like, dude, I know.
Yeah, it's just the ideas were there. So many good ideas. Yeah. But they just didn't have, they just couldn't stick with one. Or like 1 or 2. Yeah. And that's it. And just stuck with that throughout the movie. But instead introduced so many.
That's why I told you this movie felt so much like Iron Man 2. There were like 40 plots. They're all good ideas. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. But you're like, can you stick to one? Like make it about like at the end of the day, the crux, like the strongest thing there is between Ross and Captain America. Yes. And... the entire thing with the former Captain America. Yes. And maybe you could fit I think the Serpent Society just needs to be its own movie. I feel like...
Yeah, that was just thrown in there. Yeah. Especially with the actor himself.
Who apparently he is a later addition.
That's insane. I want to know why they added him.
Hopefully for later, like genuinely, actually, hopefully just to set him up because...
Well, I mean, the way they ended with him too, it was just like, any full immunity.
Oh yeah, and then it was like, I'm gonna get you, Captain America.
And I'm like, dude.
I don't know if they needed some kind of outside force, like to bring along another action scene or something, because the scene whenever he's in that, like, I don't know where they are, but they're in like a neighborhood or something. Oh yeah. And he starts shooting at him. Felt entirely added on to like for an additional part of suspense, and I like that scene, but it felt so disconnected from Tim Blake Nelson's character, and you're like, why do they know each other? How? Yeah. And then he's like, I've secretly been plotting in my like cabin or like basement for 16 years.
I missed the theories when people were saying he was supposed to be Charles Xavier.
I know. Oh yeah.
Remember?
I don't even remember that.
I remember that. I remember saying like, oh, like remember when they or whenever MCU would just say
I do.
This actor joined the MCU, and then people were like, oh my god, this person would be great for this character.
Yeah. All I'm saying is an actor of that caliber that can be that good a villain. I hope that's not the last of him, because why would it be?
I would want to see another Captain America movie with, like, of course, with Sam Wilson, but for sure focus on one idea and just drive through with it.
I would like them to even go back and double dip to some of the ideas they have here, just like so you can at least further expand on some of them.
I don't want them to talk about more of like, is he my Captain? No, just own it and go. Yeah. Like that's it.
No, He's Captain America. That's fine. Don't need to hear it again.
Yes, there's just so many similar beats to the show, and that's where, to me, it's like I feel like if you haven't seen the show, I would be a lot easier with it too. Yeah. But the fact that I have seen the show and they did bring back certain elements of that show to the movie as well.
That is the weird thing. I feel like if I didn't see that, I was like, would I love this? I was like, because it'd have new ideas in it. But yeah. I don't know. Now part of you is, I'm such a completionist that I'm kind of like, well, I know so much. I watched the show back and like through twice, I think. Yeah. And because I mean, it's hard to like do the MCU rewatches because it's long, right? Yeah. But there's so many great ideas there.
Who are you talking to?
And you.
Oh, you're not looking at me.
Oh, well, I'm also when people like anyway, right?
I'm like, what?
No, but a whole other thing. I don't know, where it's kind of like I'm happy that. Where's it even going from here? The other thing that I want to address is a reshoot, because I feel like it was entirely added because they needed a cameo for you to go, oh, was Bucky?
Oh, yeah. That definitely felt like a added thing.
It did, right? And then he fucks off completely whenever he's like, anyway, I got a plane to catch. And then,
I'm gonna go run for Congress.
Yeah, which like, I told you doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
because he is a terrorist and he killed one of the presidents.
Yeah, but I think in the show they were like, we give you like a second chance at everything because you were mind controlled. Yeah, for like all your life.
Okay, but like, what happens? Dude, they also do.
He cut his hair. Okay. He cut his hair short.
That's
for
how
the
you know
show.
he's a good guy now.
Well, yeah, we have long hair, bad. Short hair, good. Yeah, it makes sense.
And that's a whole other thing, though, is what happens if somebody plays that music while he's running for. Which, by the way, the music thing is cool. This is like the 4th time they've done it. Yeah. To like where they're like activating soldier mode, basically. Yeah. And
yeah, they did it this time though but this one is supposed not just affect super soldiers. Yeah. It's supposed to affect anyone that he I guess claimed or whatever, the leader. So because that's why he was able to affect those other humans, just like regular human guys. And why I say human guys, regular guys, yeah, I mean, they're all human.
You're an alien.
But just through like music and like affected them through like their like hypothalamus or something. Yeah. So
no, I mean that's just the whole other thing. But like I'm saying, like what happens if Bucky's like running for Congress or something, and then somebody has like some beef with him, so they start playing the music. Like,
well, but that's what the thing though. They mentioned it in the show. Yeah. And that's why that one scene or I think it was like one episode where he went to Wakanda and they showcased like him going through that treatment or like that treatment of just him like listening to that, and he starts like breaking down. Yeah, because he's fully realizing that he's in control again.
Oh, and then he was in what was he in? Infinity War. Yeah,
I think it was during Infinity War.
Yeah, but
that was a great scene.
It was. Yeah, no, there's so many. I mean, if you're looking, I don't want them to make that a pattern though. Yeah, where all of the great character moments are in a TV show. Yeah, and then you go to the movie because like then what's the movie? Just like events. Yeah, like what's it gonna be exactly?
That's true. I can see that. I think what you just said earlier too, earlier in this episode, where you said that the shows itself became so reliant on just producing so much content that now that they are taking a step back, and just trying to focus more on quality and not quantity, I think we're still getting a lot of the quantity stuff and not the quality aspect.
I can actually tell you that I know that for a fact.
Oh, you work there?
No. This is the last remnant of the COVID era of movies being made. Okay. The next MCU things are all made after the fact. Okay. That's good to know. I were to guess, I bet anything that Thunderbolts will be awesome. Yeah. And that Fantastic Four will probably be amazing.
I really hope Fantastic Four is amazing.
Yeah, which I mean...
To see a Fantastic Four movie that's just, like, great.
To see a Fantastic Four movie that's better than bad...
it's already a low bar. It's fine.
I'm not about to do that revisionist history bullshit with you guys. I've seen Twitter. Well, since when do we like those? That's not true. Those Tim Story ones? That's not true.
I mean... They're comic
They're goofy. Yeah. They're like goofy in a fun way, but do not tell me that they're good.
They're not good. They're not good. They're goofy. They're fun to watch, but they're not good movies.
They're bad movies. And then they're like, oh, they got the casting so accurate. Did they?
I don't know. Casting's casting.
Yeah. I don't know.
All I care is if the actor himself or herself is actually a genuine good actor.
Which, I mean, they cast a bunch of good actors, thank God.
Yeah, they did.
We didn't really structure this how we usually do.
No.
But
because the movie itself was all over the place as well. So.
No, like whenever we saw this a few days ago, I have thought about how much of a mixed bag this movie is, like, since I saw it. Yeah. I enjoyed it while I was watching it. I had problems with it.
Wait a minute. All right, where do you rank it? Out of all 35 projects.
I don't fucking know.
Out of almost 40 projects that Marvel has made, where do you rank this? I don't even know. This is in last 10.
This is in phase 1 somewhere. It's not bad, but it's
Would you count the shows in like part of the phases as well? Yeah. Dude, I don't even know. I haven't seen Loki season 2. I hear that one's great.
It's great. I have seen it. No. But like...
Whoa, is this better than Ant-Man Quantumania?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, shoot. Actually, I don't know.
It's also...
It's so long since I've seen that one.
I know for a fact it's better than Secret Invasion. I've already been...
I haven't seen that one.
I've gone on the record here, I think. Secret Invasion's the only MCU thing I do not like. Like it didn't land, unfortunately. So if you think
that nobody saw that movie or show,
yeah, but I even told you, I was like, I didn't want to finish it because it would be the first thing from the MCU that I disliked, and it was really bothering me. But I did, and it's not good. But where does this land for you, quality wise, like in terms of
this mixed bag as well?
Yeah,
because there's some things I did like. But there's just some things I didn't hate. I don't hate this movie or anything. There's some parts that I just dislike just because of how they introduced something and it was just disappointing.
Yeah.
And how they ended either like the character or like the ideas that were in this movie as well.
Yeah. I have a friend, Erwin, who I...
2 A's or 1 A?
2.
Oh.
Who
1
I
R
showed...
or 2 R? I'm just asking a question.
Aaron.
Okay.
But...
I don't know what
who I showed all of the MCU things in a row. And honestly, whenever I finally get to all of these phases with him, he's probably going to enjoy this one to an extent, but I'm probably going to ask him, where does this fall for you in terms of these movies? Actually, he loved Incredible Hulk. He might love this movie. But
dude, but you're not, it's not even Hulk going against Red Hulk.
I know, but Red Hulk's there.
Yeah, that's true.
But this, at least for me...
Dude, the Abomination, he was in... Shang-Chi, right?
He was in that and She-Hulk.
Briefly. I forgot about that.
But this is like Iron Man 2, a movie I like, by the way. Mm-hmm. Incredible Hulk, a movie I like. This is there.
Guys, I loved She-Hulk.
I did too. I think we reviewed that, right?
Yeah.
But overall, what's your score?
Honestly, probably 3.5.
Yeah, I gave it the same thing.
Really? I didn't even know. Okay, cool.
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
I didn't put it on my letterbox yet. That's why I was like, probably 3.5 out of 5.
No, I mean, because like you and I always land on thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Typically, especially when it comes to these movies.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same feeling.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like, I liked it. Yeah. But that's so painful to say, also.
Yeah.
Because of how many great ideas are in this. But Erwin,
wait, I have a question. Are they going to do a sequel to Eternals, or they just canceled it?
I don't think they've canceled it, but
they've postponed it.
I think it's one of those we'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
Type things, which I hope they do. I loved that movie.
Yes, I need to watch that movie again.
But what's up next?
Monkey.
The Monkey, and I think we have the time for this. Paddington.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh heck
why
yeah!
Why would we not review it?
Yeah. Okay. Great. I was gonna watch Paddington regardless because I was like, I want to see that movie. It's so good.
I am super excited for both of these. I've heard The Monkey is incredible. I'm so excited.
So good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I've heard like there's a lot of horror stuff, but including Paddington 3.
Dude, this sucks because during October we'll probably get 1 or 2 horror movies, and that's it, and they're not gonna be good.
When is Final Destination? That's in May.
Dude, what? That's a summer movie.
All right, Erwin, what are they going to do?
They're going to like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do, or you'll make us mad and turn us red, and we'll get big.
I just turn red regardless.
And then I'll break my camera.
Don't do that. Dude, it's your phone.
But, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Stay tuned for all of that stuff.
Stay Looney Tunes.
Exactly. What did you think of Captain America?
Did you see the trailer? There's a trailer for Looney Tunes.
There was one that came out like a few months ago.
No, I think it was today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I gotta look at it. Captain America, Brave New World. We want to know, did you think it was a mixed bag? Some people, it's kind of all over the place in terms of, it's getting very mixed reviews. I think it's quite literally at 50%.
I'd love to know the people who loved it.
I was hoping I'd be one of them. Unfortunately, I'm not. I love some stuff in it, but I wish the Hulk were in it more. The Red Hulk were in it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We will see you next time.